And now, our feature presentation.
You are watching a master at work.
How about that? How about that? How about that? Everything we talk about, ill intent, violence, physicality, execution, the will to win. Just win, David.
You are now about to witness the strength of street knowledge.
What's up, nation? Ralf in the building, and welcome everybody to another episode of Straight Outta Nation. 100% Raiders, no Chargers, no Chiefs, no Broncos, 100% extreme attitude for the Raider Nation. And right now, we have a special guest right now because all these days, providing my podcast, Straight Outta Nation, we had some special guests. La Nación Raider, Ricardo Villanueva, also Murph from Raiders Fan Radio. And right now we have an amazing special guest. You might know as one of the greatest one, because I know how it really feels about it, because it worth right now to bring this amazing guest right now. So ladies and gentlemen, give it a round of applause for the one and only Protect the Shield podcast. So how's it going, Protect the Shield? Welcome to Straight Outta Nation.
Hey, I'm glad to be here, man. I appreciate the invite, man. Love spending time with you, man. You're the GOAT of that live play-to-play, man. So appreciate you allowing me on your platform, man.
Yes, exactly. Also, we're talking about for the first topic. So hit the like button, subscribe, and of course, ring the bell for notifications. So right now, the first topic is going to be very interesting. So how Chris Smith, the safety for the Raiders, becomes the highest gem when it comes to force of nature. Because during that time, because he was drafted for the Georgia Bulldogs, because I'm going to show up for the video right now, because I know the safety position is going to be really important. But whatever you see about it is because they have an impressive force of nature and the highest level IQ. No, don't prove me wrong about this, because we know that they just drafted the 2023 Raiders, but also he was drafted, Trey Taylor, for the safety of Air Force during the 2024. So right now, I'm going to show off for this video right now. So I know I couldn't mute the video, so let's check them out right now, because I know there is something about for the computer issues right now. So this tweeter is going to be Mr. Procpot. So there it is right now. So we're going to look at a little bit of this one. So this is one of those plays about for Chris Smith when he was playing for the Georgia Bulldogs. So let's check them out right now. All right, let's see what I got. Very impressive. I mean, if you see for the force of nature, I mean, the safety has a lot of things to do. But he needs to improve a lot of this. I mean, he becomes like the pick six, not only for Jack Jones for the Raiders, but also he became like the pick six. I mean, he's one of the highest gems of the Raider Nation, and the safety has proved a lot. Has proved a lot. But I guarantee that Chris Smith from the Raiders became like very important because he's one of the most versatile playmakers in the class. It's very instinctive for this parents, lining up for the number of spots. Also, he needs to improve about this technique. Also, he has the strength, athleticism, production, but most of these safety positions doesn't know about it. But do you really think that Chris Smith could be like a force of nature to improve about for the Raiders defense along with the safeties like Trayvon Morrick? Also, there's Marcus Epps. I mean, he was cracking it down with like the safety rotation. It is gonna be like earning the spot for the 50-man roster. It is gonna be like an up of the hill. So how are you thinking about for Chris Smith being like a force of nature at the safety position?
I think Chris Smith was he's definitely a viable option at safety. I think that he does possess some good skill, some good attributes, good skill sets. Will I say a force of nature? I'm not sure if I'm ready to say that yet, but he does have good leadership. He was one of the leaders of that Georgia Bulldog defense that was so good. But yeah, I'm interested to see, how he continues to develop. I think all the players are going to get a lot better in year 2 and year 3 in that system. So continuity is going to help him. So I'm excited to see what happens.
Yep. I mean, the football instance can go to like get Smith on the field, much of about for the rookie season. I mean, consider about for the two starters, like Marcus said, like I said, Trayvon Morrick. I mean, they really came off of the field on the snap count because I know I have a big processor, but the safety came up to the league that I record to a rate like rated skills about for the defensive coordinator Patrick Graham, but they just see it about for the defenders. I mean, between for the Patrick Graham defense system, I mean, it could be a lot of this one because they know exactly how they're gonna reach out to the top. I mean, it's gonna be like very impressed, but this is gonna be like the main season, the main reason how the defense was gonna be improved to be like a leader of men. We just don't see like the pattern because I know he's a smart dude, but it also seems like they actually had to work it out for the linebacker. They started off with a defensive revolution, as known as a great as Matt is. Also, had an only defensive lineman performing well. But the reason I just wanted to bring it out because they had so much credit to put Patrick Graham under the system to the defensive turnaround. I mean, they're gonna be suggesting what is be more like very important than retain for the Patrick Graham, but I don't think it's gonna be like a reason with how the things are changed. But their defense has started improving even before that because I know this is gonna be like very important about for the Linus coach, also for the defensive coordinator. I mean, they took out a lot of risk about for all of the last season, and of course, we're gonna get ready for the next season.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's a good point. All good points.
hmm But I guarantee that under the system of Patrick Graham, also Luke Getsy, I mean, we're just moving on for the next topic. I mean, we're just talking about for Luke Getsy. I mean, for the defensive scheme, I mean, it doesn't get really involved about this. I mean, it's not get very complicated because over 6 months ago, they just get hired by Luke Getsy. But even after about that, because how Luke Getsy has been used like two tight ends, which is, for example, the powerful combination between Buck Bowers and Michael Mayer. I mean, how the possible can use it about it? Because we know about for this offensive coordinator as the Chicago Bears, but it seems like Getsy has never been like they never had two talented receiving tight ends before. Usually one pass at the catch and blockers. I mean, Bowser could be like a diversity target, but also he can line up with everybody. But also there's Michael Mayer. Also he has in the monster which they have for the quarterback. He can throw constantly. Watching the highlights always reminds like a bigger version of Renfro. But being able to pass ability to run formations, it should be pretty helpful. So tell me about for the combination between Buck Bowers and Michael Mayer, and how the offensive coordinator Luke Getsy has never been used like a two tight ends. Because right now we're in at the middle of the training camp, and of course for the preseason, how they're gonna be like so interesting to watch them.
Yeah, it's going to be very interesting to watch because, Bowers is electric. He's dynamic. He's explosive. He's a guy that, for someone his size, for him to be able to run after the catch, get those yards after the catch like he does, is very impressive. And the thing is, a lot of people they'll try to lead you to believe that he just cannot block. He's an okay blocker. He can block okay. Most tight ends aren't extremely great blockers. I mean, of course, he's more of a receiving type of tight end, but he's going to be a matchup nightmare for a lot of defensive coordinators. They're really going to be, staying up at night. Maybe not necessarily rookie year, but he's going to be, up there with the Kittles and things like that here in the next few years. And then with Michael Mayer, he's a traditional guy. He's willing to, roll his sleeves up, do some of the dirty work, but he can also catch. He's also great in the red zone. So it's going to be a problem for defensive coordinators to try to figure out where we want to get, and what we want to do. Now, Getsy, he actually used 12 personnel more than a lot of other coaches. So, I think this is going to be great for him. And, on top of that, Getsy, he's, people want to downplay him quite a bit because of his time in Chicago. But one thing he does know how to do is scheme his wide receivers open. Now, he may have not had the most success with Justin Fields because Justin Fields is he's still a work in progress type of thrower. But, Devontae Adams has had his, strongest years, with him. DJ Moore had strong years under Getsy. So I expect to see that ball, kind of moved, passed around to different guys. And we have so many weapons, so I'm excited to see what we do with it.
I mean, I agree with that. I mean, even there are like a lack of talent for the quarterback position. I mean, it's gonna be like Ward or South should be carried about for the offense with so many weapons. And I think that Luke Getsy is gonna be like the wild card. He'll decide who's going to succeed or not. But they're just like people that are missing that the fact that only 44% of Brock Bowers' snap were the tight end. I mean, we're not even going to rely for the 12 personal and two tight end sets off at all time with Bowers or Mayer on the field. But this is how we're going to change it about it. We just upgraded with Hunter Renfro, a slot receiver who can play out of the wide spots at the tight end in the backfield. But it was just like a great pick that even the people are underestimated. I mean, because look at it, like I say, they had never two talented tight ends before. And he had to over realign to the one. I mean, the thing that about for if we can line up like tight ends and still run the ball or throw Bowers, and it's like we're going to check it out. I mean, the defense won't know what is coming anymore. I mean, we're not having like more than 1,010 yards in the roster, but we can definitely have the two tight ends. I mean, this is going to be like something about for like a killer instinct, but also we just see like how to improve about for the offensive scheme of Luke Getsy. I mean, our defense scored more points than about for the last year because it seems that they usually has to go for the catching on blockers. I mean, they really had to go for a lockdown, but I just wanted to tell about it. If they had to talk it about for how need to figure it out on the field together while not getting enough like the vertical thread, which is the defensive underneath or the set around play, they know they can vertical. So they can be like at a very, very locked out. But I just really find it out how special because they need to be created. I mean, they will like to give it like a shot, but what they better have to go to create it. I mean, it starts with at the bottom. It starts with the linebackers. It starts with the defense. I mean, it should have started with every success offense that had two tight end skills because they're not trying to invent anything. I mean, they had to learn how to beat the defense along with another teams.
Yeah, no, I agree. All that's facts, man. So it gives us a lot of reason to be excited because, we have a lot of good things brewing with training camp coming right now. There's a lot to be excited about.
Yep. Also, we just saw for the comments right now. So let's just see. Daniel Berry, how's it going? Salute to you. Also, True Raiders in the building. Raider Rival is in the building. What's up, Raider Rival? Also, Millennial Raider, how's it going? Also, the Raider Rundown, how's it going? Part of the podcast, the Sunday Syndicate, which they have an amazing group of talented content creators from the Raiders, Protect the Shield, also the Raider Rundown, Turf, the Ultimate Raider Fan, and Leo Chatlinus. So right now, let's go see it for another topic. I know that so many points that have to go for like the defensive, and of course, we just see like how they're gonna move like that. So I know about for the rumors because I understand, I understand that how the how they had a big jump about for this one. Because after we just saw for all these rumors about Devontae Adams getting trade, because I just heard about for the rumors, but the official thing is Devontae Adams needs to stay as a Raider. Because right now there's no option to trade, there's no option to get fired. Because during for the all this time right now, I mean Devontae Adams is still like a dog. I mean, after we just saw for like the series show called Receiver at Netflix, I mean Devontae Adams, it proves like not everyone can be like very talented. But I think that they just be like very awarded. I mean, he just have it like a good time for the Raiders. I mean, since 2016, I mean, he just placed at the first and second for the record, also for touchdowns, yards. I mean, there's like more than any other player. And why the Raiders are being like very successful along with Devontae Adams, because we know that it's a true Raider. I mean, I'm not even concerned about for the career stats because they're gonna be interesting for the stats for the season. I mean, it can pull it out for this one because I know that he grew up as a Raider, and I know he was playing along for the Green Bay Packers along with Aaron Rodgers. But I don't want it to see like Devontae Adams getting traded for another team. So that's not gonna happen because I just wanted to see like Devontae Adams along with the Raiders with Max Crosby, Antonio Pierce, give it like a glory days. Give it out for the wild card, or maybe the championship, or maybe for the Super Bowl. But I'm not getting crazy about it. But the truth is, Devontae Adams needs to stay as a Raider because right now is in the blood. Because I don't think it's gonna be like very worse than about for the last year, but I know that he was very, very interesting how the power, the force of nature of the wide receiver can build that very more.
Yeah, yeah. Devontae's special. And that's why I think that Raider fans are doing a disservice by being willing to ship him out so easily and so quickly. I feel that Devontae brings a certain type of a standard to this team that we haven't had in a long time. And granted, I know financially you got to always make the best decision. However, some of the stuff that the leadership that he has, even off the field, is priceless. So now, granted, if we start the season off bad and he's clearly unhappy and we have to kind of blow the thing up and start over, or at least get younger, then yeah, then we can look at trading him, around the trade deadline. But just because people saw the receiver documentary and saw him slam his helmet down and say stuff about Jimmy Garoppolo and things like that, that does not mean he doesn't want to be a Raider. He's clearly said he wants to be a Raider plenty of times. He's been on multiple platforms, telling that he's locked in with us. He likes where he's living now. His family likes it. It's a good situation for him. So, we just have to focus on getting our quarterback play up to par, getting our offensive line up to par, finding out what we really got in running back. We got to focus on that stuff. The noise of the rumors and stuff like that. As Raider fans and content creators, we just have to keep it moving and flush out the noise.
I mean, I agree with that. And of course, we just see like a lot of media stuff, the grading about because how the media they disrespect us. Because I know there are some like media stuffs like ESPN or Four Sports they're talking about all the Raiders are never coming back. But I just heard about for calling her, which is not totally because I know for the words of calling her, they say all the Raiders is not gonna be like very important because the Raiders sucks. But I guarantee that most of those persons, because all the media they just love like Peyton or Harbaugh, because I know that in some point we're just like the misfits. I know we're just like a group of content creators who can build like the better one. Because we're not here to talk about for clickbait. We're not talking about for like the rumors. We're talking about like things very clear. Because we're talking about for the defense, breaking down for those players, and of course, very important news that the people that just want it. I mean, over the social media, which is evolved and changed for over those years, we just have like the content creators. They're doing like very creative, but some point they had to seem like they have the same things. But I understand why they treat us like a third back. But we never stop. We never stop because right now, over the last year until Antonio Pierce, things are really changing for the impact of culture, and things will be improved a lot of things better when it comes to this year because we just having to go for the like top 10 defense. Of course, we just had Devontae Adams, Max Crosby, Robert Spillane, also the quarterback battle between Gardner Minshew and Aiden O'Connor. I mean, there's nothing can stop. I mean, there's like a certain rumors that can be true or fake because I understand about for journalists. There's like a difference between true news and fake news. I mean, true or false. Because I mean, the Raider Nation is just like an enormous, great band of great fans all over the world. And the media or disrespect us? I don't think so. Because all over the dudes right now, because they're trying to bias the situation, or for us as a content creators, we just provide like everything creative. We're just breaking it down for those players. And we always been unfiltered and uncensored. So we can speak very loud about what's happened to the Raiders. No matter if we win or we lose, we are part of the nation that we can inform to these persons what's going on for the Raiders. Did they fire off the coach? I mean, that really happens because we are in DNA. We have their blood to express it about how the Raider Nation is gonna be building up for the top.
Yeah. No, you're right. You're right. It's it's just a lot going on, man. We just got to keep grinding, being as strong as a nation as we can. Try to stay united. That's all we can do.
Yeah, exactly. And besides that, we're gonna be talking about for like another topic because right now I just talked with Raiders from Raiders Fan Radio, the Murph, and there is like a very important right now. So here it is, Flex. There it is, the Raiders cultural impact because I've been talking with Murph from Raiders Fan Radio, and this one is gonna be so incredible. So if you saw Taylor Swift get in love with the Kansas City Chiefs, which I don't agree, because for us, for the Raider Nation, we just have like a great taste of hip hop culture, rock music, and of course, some great things. Because if you saw Metallica over the last years of the parking lot for the Oakland Raiders before the go for the season, I mean, that huge was incredible. Also, they just had Ice Cube, Too Short, MC Hammer, part of the Raider Nation. I mean, there's so many important because they really unite the culture. If you see like a lot of persons in California, they're not dressing up like Rams or Chargers or San Francisco 49ers. We see like a lot of persons in California, especially in that state, they represent for the Raiders because they're very so unique. They have united for the culture because there's two things that I really love about for Unite for the culture. Hip hop from the California, which is the West Coast, and the Raiders. Because no matter what happens, Raiders still run for the state of California, including for some sport teams like Los Angeles Lakers. I mean, that's part of the DNA. That's part of the culture. That's part of the identity. Also, we just see like at a lot of things how the Raider Nation has been improved for a lot of years. It's about for the group of diversity. No matter if you're black, white, Native American, Asian, Hispanic, I mean, we all united for one team. I mean, no matter if we win or we lose, Raider Nation till I die. And that's what I'm wearing that hat right now, Black Sunday, because when it comes to the football season, when it comes to September to December, when the Raiders are under the field, it's always Black Sunday. It's always civil and Black Sunday, but when it comes to Raiders coming out for the Raider Nation. So yes, I know this is gonna be like very important about us. And yes, there is Leo right now. So how's it going, Leo? Salute to you, West Side. Also, Raiders Rabbit to say Taylor Swift is perfect for the queers culture. They're not like us, just like the son of Kendrick Lamar. And I know that I understand about it. So tell me about how the hip hop culture influenced a lot of more for the Raiders team all over those years.
Yeah, just started off just back in the day, with
Uh-huh.
NWA, Easy E, Ice Cube, and them, always wearing our gear. But it's just one thing. Like the Raiders have always had that culture of doing things a little different. We're not the team that's going to be polished and be pretty doing it. That we get that from Al Davis. Al was always all about going against the grain, so and that's what hip hop's about, going against the grain, doing things your way, being a little rough around the edges. That's why, people like Too Short and Ice Cube represent us so well because, that's who we are. We're not going to, and even from a rock standpoint, I'm not the biggest rock listener, but if I'm going to listen to it, Metallica be rocking out,
Oh
So it's
yes.
like Metallica's known for being like official at what they do. So,
Oh yes, indeed.
yeah. So it's like, and that's just who we are. We're just a team that is authentically us. We're not going to apologize for being us. We're not going to try to, be the nice guys. We're not going to try to be the politically correct team. We are who we are. If you don't like us, stop us. And that's what we got to get back to those days. And I think AP is helping bring that culture back. AP may not be the most articulate. He may not be the smartest. He may not be, the most polished. But he's going to have his guys running through a wall to play football, and that's all we can ask for.
I mean, I agree with that because after we just saw like Antonio Pierce's influence in the culture, I mean, they just bring back for the old football roots. And what I understand about it, because when I was living in Charlotte, North Carolina, I really understood about for like the assignment of learning from the history of the organization of the Raiders. Because right now it seems like very perfect. We just see like a lot of greatness about for the 70s, the 80s, the 90s to 2000. We're never about for these trailblazers persons who changed the whole culture for the Raiders. They have Al Davis. They have Cliff Branch. Remember the phrase of speed kills? Also, they just had Jim Plunkett, Charles Woodson, Sebastian Janowicz. He has 17 years for the Raiders, and he was part of the defense. And also, we just had like an amazing group of talent and youngest who define a new generation. Because if you see like 2000 for Charles Woodson and Sebastian Janowicz, man, the 2000 Raiders defense was on fire because they almost did it to win the Super Bowl against for Tampa Bay Buccaneers, but they just came like very short. But I understand that the impact of the culture, they just bring united very more. And of course, from the 70s, the 80s, when John Madden became like one of the trailblazers, it become for the culture. And of course, we will never forget about for the original one, the OG of the Raiders, the one and only Jim Otto. Because Jim Otto, it became like the representation for the Raiders. And he became like, with the sweat, tears, and blood, he became like one of the three players to play all of the NFL games. It was just like the starting center for the Raiders for 15 straight seasons. From the 60s, which is come for like the decade of 60s to 1974. I mean, that was like the 10 times. But also, the Raiders are giving like a tribute to the season number 65. Number 65, because they're going to celebrate 65 years from this courage from about to the beginning, about from 1960 to 2024. Because during for the 70s and 80s, they just moved out from Oakland, which is their home at first, and then for Los Angeles, and then they moved out to Oakland once again, and then they moved out to Las Vegas. So I know they became like part of the culture, but it really keeps you united of all of these persons because there's nothing can stop about the Raider Nation because it's it's a worldwide thing. It's a worldwide fan because no matter if you live in the United States, Canada, United Kingdom, also Mexico, Panama, we are bleeding Raider Nation. So if you thought that Dallas Cowboys or San Francisco 49ers are the America's team, hell no, sir. Because the Raider Nation are the worldwide team. And we have a lot of great history and great culture to impact. Also, there has trailblazers who changed the culture of football professionally.
Yeah, no, I couldn't have said it better, man. It's that's a culture that we have, and we're definitely in a good spot to take it to the next level, man. So that's why I'm glad that training camp has started. It opened up for the rookies and quarterbacks, and here on Tuesday we got everybody else coming in. So all the stuff that you mentioned, that's all good stuff, and that's why we are who we are.
Yep, exactly. So, what are those last things that I just wanted about for the training camp? I mean, they just wanted to know how they're gonna be like a super interesting about it. So this is gonna be like a very impact players. We're talking about it. So who you think that could be like a something about for like a very impact player for the training camp? Because we just know about for Bobby Young, Chris Smith second, but who will be like the impact player who could be to get on the roster of the 50-man roster for the Raiders 2024-2025 season term from the training camp? Who will be like the impact player who shocked like very entirely for the defense?
So who's going to shock us on defense? It's going to be
Yes,
an impact player this year.
yeah, the impact
Um,
players.
I think that um, so I definitely think Malcolm Kuntz, is going to be
Okay.
a very, very impact player because he's going to get a lot of one-on-one matchups. Um, because and I think he's going to absolutely destroy a lot of one-on-one matchups. Not too many right tackles or left tackles are going to be able to mess with him one-on-one. So I expect him to have a big impact. I think, I think Jack Jones will have another good year. I think he'll come on strong. I think that Jacorian Bennett is going to surprise a lot of people. A lot of people kind of are low on Jacorian Bennett. I see him having a good year to bounce back. So I would say probably those three are ones that I'm looking to really have a big season. And then specifically Jacorian Bennett, I expect him to solidify himself at cornerback 2 and kind of hush a lot of the haters that don't believe in him.
I mean, I agree because between for Malcolm Coons, I mean, he has the very impact about for this one. I mean, he just finished about for the 2023 season, about for 8 sacks. I mean, 14 quarterback hits. I mean, it became like a something related about for like Khalil Mack, but it's like one of the hottest pass rushers in the league right now because we just see like how important it's gonna be like over the last 9 games for the season. But Malcolm Coombs, it became like very impact player, not only for that season, but also it's gonna be like very important for the training camp. Also,
Yeah.
we're just talking about for like Matt Crosby and Christian Wilkins. I mean, they all gotta take like a 3 blockers each play, essentially in passing downs, not including like the pass protection on the field. But Coons and Tyree Wilson, they're gonna eat. Because remember the first year with Tyree Wilson, he became like the rookie and we start feeling nervous. But if you look at this career, he's definitely has snapping tremendously towards in the end of the year, and he produced along with Malcolm Kuntz because this is gonna be like the main unit of that team, and they will stand handle for win some games for this year, but I wouldn't be expected to be like a big one. I mean, between him, Hobbs, Morek, all over the country years, but it won't be like a surprise. It will be surprised because the more that we just see like about for Malcolm Kuhn plays, they have better results. We had to go like to see splashes over the past season where he subbed in. I mean, they have never got a real chance until Antonio Pierce came in. I mean, they're pulling that with the Raider before the draft as a sleeper pick because they just brought like they're getting better now. Because I just hoping that they're more improvement about for this year. But with the addition for Christian Wilkins, I mean, it should really help that the team's edge play it out. I mean, every time they got a sack, everything didn't produce at a single sack we lost because how significant that it makes very sense that if the pass rush is cooking, meaning like it's not going to be putting all the work. But we had to a lot of more have jobs than everything because between Coons, Morik, Hobbs, Diablo, how are we going to understand about it? How we can understand it? I mean, if they're going to play a lot of more defensively and aggressive, I mean, is that how they go for the best online for the league? And we able to see about it. There's no too bad. There's no too bad. I mean, 7 out of the 11 games, he didn't get a sack. I mean, he's like a very good third down rusher backup, but I think it's gonna be like a future starter. But I hope that Tyree Wilson could be the boss of the starting quality player.
Yeah, I think it's going to be key for us to be able to take that next step. Is he's going to have to take that next step. We need him to be able to be the player that we thought he was going to be. You know, when we drafted him, he's going to have to be a difference maker. He has bulked up, so I don't want to give up on him. You know, but if I'm being honest, would I bet my last dollar that he's going to be a star? No, but I'm not giving up. You know, I do hope that he does well. If he does better, that's only going to help us out. So I'm rooting for the kid. I know he's been working hard. He's been working with Max, and we'll see if he has it. You know, if he has what it takes, and the NFL is going to have something. They're going to have a big problem, and that's the Raider defense.
I understand, and right now because over the last weeks that we're talking about for like the Raiders defense. But I understand because the last year, like I told everyone, after the whole fiasco of Josh McDaniels and Dave Ziegler, right now we have much confidence about for the defense. I know the schemes could be like really perfect because they're in for the blueprint. We just got it for Antonio Pierce. I mean, the defense gonna be like really hot on that one. Because I understand that there are some games that just won. There are some games that we just win. But we just see like we have a top 10 defense over for the last seasons. I mean, we just have like a top kicker and punter. But all these years, because they're now very watched. And we're trying to win to scoring 27. Because remember the time we just win against New York Giants when Antonio Pierce came in? That was just like a great statement. Also, we can never forget about for Christmas when Las Vegas Raiders beat the Kansas City Chiefs with Travis Kelce, Patrick Mahomes, and Taylor Swift crying, bitching, and moaning. Also, we just see Jack Jones, the pick six with extraordinary play and historical moment between for Las Vegas Raiders versus Los Angeles Chargers, an historical night on Thursday night, and we just won 63 against 21. But we just finished the last season in top 10. I mean, I really how to see how the teams they're looking forward. How doesn't it be like a strange competition? Because I just really hope that the defense played pretty good against Miami. Even we just lost the rough of the game. I mean, we just hold like the highest power offense to only 20 points. It's not been bad at all.
Yeah.
Not bad at all. And all for this 10 years since Carver just drafted the Rangers, I mean, they just ran for the death of the last of the defense over the 9 years. But they only have 1 year at the top 2, 3 for the league for the defense was 18. But the first year he was gone, there was like at the top 10, and that was just like great relief. As very happy as I am for the defense that was showing out for improvement, I'm really hoping that this team doesn't get like very complicated. I know we benefit from playing like a lot of defense and quarterback in the off for this year, off for the last season. I feel that was very impressive, but good improvement against mediocre offense. I hope that the team doesn't but Angel Foles go and put all the resources to take it to the next level. So like I said, they're going to put the defense all first and, of course, play great football because it's all about leadership and discipline. I know there are some of the teams that are go like indisciplined, but the discipline about for the Raiders, their spark is undeniable. Undeniable. And you can never erase that.
Yeah, no, I agree. You're spot on, man. Couldn't have said it better. Couldn't have said it better.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And of course, I just wanted to tell her about it. Thanks for joining us on this episode of Straight Outta Nation, along with a special guest, Protect the Shield podcast. So, Protect the Shield podcast. One last thing before we're wrapping up, and where can we find you on the social media to see your content, not only about for the Fan Talk Friday, but also with the Syndicate Sundays and the Spicy Talk along with Spicy Raider.
Yeah, so again, I appreciate you having me on, man. I'm definitely a big fan of you, Rafa, and you always been a big supporter of my channel, so I always want to make sure I support you as well. But yeah, every Wednesday, 6 p.m. Pacific time, I have my show with Spicy Raider Girl. It's called the Spicy Shield Talk. And then on Friday, I have Fan Talk Friday. That's my show that I do every week at 6 o'clock Pacific time, 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. And then I got a show later on with my brothers here in about an hour and 15 minutes. So it's 4:30 Pacific time, 7:30 Eastern Standard Time. I'm with my with our group, man, the Raider Syndicate, which is myself, Leo, Turf, and Rundown. So definitely check us out. Our Sunday show, we usually have a lot of debates because all four of us are very different. So there's a lot of debating and just iron sharpen iron on that show. So definitely check us out, and just make sure if you like authentic Raider talk, man, come check me out.
Yeah, thank you very much. And of course, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to Capitán Rafucho, and of course, ring the bell for notifications, because I understand that we have great takes, we have great opinion, but there's only one nation, and that's the Raider Nation.
Sir.
And I hope you're feeling good right now, because right now we're out of here. Thanks for watching on this episode of Straight Outta Nation. Remember, follow me on the social media at Capitán Rafucho on Twitter, at Capitán Rafucho 93 on Instagram. Also, you can follow me on Rumble, YouTube, and Twitch. So thank you very much. Thank you, everybody. Thanks, Protect the Shield, to having us for this special episode of Straight Outta Nation. So thank you very much. And like all Davis say, just win, baby. And we are out of here. So thank you very much. And salute to everybody.